Okay, welcome to the press conference. The manager is here to take your questions on the Sevilla game. All questions and answers need to be in English or Spanish. We do have simultaneous translation. Number 1 is English and number 2 is Spanish. Okay, if you'd like to start.
Jose, Paul Pogba didn't train this morning. Paul Pogba didn't train this morning.
He did after you left.
So is he fit for tomorrow night?
I don't know. We don't know yet, but he trained a little bit after you left.
Is Anthony Marshall fit as well?
Yeah,
okay.
fit.
Jose, Scott McTominay has been selected for Scotland by Alex McLeish this lunchtime. How far has he progressed in the last 6 months to come from nowhere to being almost an international footballer?
He's playing well. He's using every minute on the pitch and outside the pitch to learn. He's humble. He wants to learn. He doesn't want headlines or flashes. He just wants to work, improve, and be useful for his team. He was progressively getting chances to play. He got the injuries of Michael Carrick, Fellaini, Pogba, Herrera. Basically, all of the midfield players they had one injury during the season, and he was getting minutes and he was getting experience. And it's the best way. The best way to improve is to be on the pitch, of course. But he's a good learner, and I remember his beginnings when sometimes he was not even on the bench, but I was taking him with the team as the extra player. And I remember clearly him in the meetings, in the dressing room, half time, eating every word, listening to everything. So I think his humble nature is what is making him a good player for us.
Jose, has Marcus done enough to stay in the team after Saturday? And 0-0 is a dangerous scoreline, isn't it? You've got to score, but a score draw isn't enough. Did Rashford come in for his goal threat?
Look, I read something, some quote from the worst manager in the history of the Premier League, Frank De Boer, 7 matches, 7 defeats, 0 goals, where he was saying that it's not good for Marcus Rashford to have a coach like me, because the most important thing for me is to win. If he was coached by Frank, he would learn how to lose, because he lost every game. But I try to give the best to the kids' education. Of course, Marcus, I have to be honest and give the credit to the people of the academy that was responsible for his formation. I have to give the credit to Mr. Van Gaal, that was responsible for his first season in the first team. But if you go to his numbers and how many matches he played with me last season and also this season, I would say, maybe I'm wrong, but I would say probably is in the top 5 players with more matches in the two seasons, and applies the same with Scott. The best thing that can happen to a kid is to have experiences, and Marcos is having these experiences too. I'm really happy. Probably I think that Gary Southgate doesn't mind that I say a little bit that a couple of minutes of our conversation was about Marcos, and he also knows what Marcos can give, and I think we are all on the on the same page. He plays for Manchester United many matches. He starts some, he comes from the bench others. He's 20 or 21 years old, and really pleased with everything. Does he play every match from the start? No, of course not. But he's a player that we trust, and I told that before Liverpool match, where probably not many of you were expecting him to start. He started. He had a good match, and I'm not just speaking about scoring goals, because for me, analyze a performance is much more than analyze the number of goals or the number of assists. For me, the performance is globality, and I'm really happy with Marcus.
How big was Saturday going into this game in terms of getting that win and that result? But also, how big is this week in defining how your season maybe turns out?
And tomorrow is more important than Saturday, because Saturday was a match for points, was a match that we still have 24 more points to discuss, 24 more points to try to finish top 4, to try to finish third, to try to finish second, if possible. But tomorrow and Saturday are the matches where in the end you go to the next draw or you don't go to the next draw. So of course knockout become more important than championship matches.
Hi Jose, you've won this competition twice as a manager.
Did I?
Yes.
Yeah?
Very well done on that. And so with that knowledge, how well equipped is your squad, Manchester United squad, to at least try and win it this season, to go deep into the competition, do you think?
I think we are not one of the best teams in the competition. But I think when a team arrives in the last 8, anything can happen. I think when you are in the last 16, it looks really far. But when the team gets in the last 8, you start smelling semi-finals. And I think when a team gets into the last 8, the feeling is, of course, you are in amongst the best, but anything can happen. So let's see what happens tomorrow. I think tomorrow is a very difficult match. We are playing against a team that didn't lose against Liverpool, home and away. Score goals in Liverpool, drew the match in Liverpool. And when I say Liverpool, I say because it's an example of a very good team. Is an example of an important stadium with big tradition. So when I say Liverpool, is just to say that that Sevilla is a really good team, and the result of the first leg is a result that leaves everything open for tomorrow. I don't feel we have any advantage in this moment. We are going to try to prove that we are better and to try to win the match tomorrow, but the reality is that in this moment we haven't any advantage at all.
Buenas tardes, José.
Hola.
Manchester United lleva varios años sin estar en cuartos de final, sin estar entre los 8 mejores. ¿Consideras el partido de mañana como de los más importantes de los últimos años, justamente el Manchester United, por volver a estar en la élite?
I think Europa League final was internationally our most important match in the last years, because we won the competition and that victory brought us to Manchester United natural habitat, which is the Champions League. I think Manchester United has to be a team of Champions League, so that victory last season was very important for us, because we finish outside the top 4 in the Premier League, and by winning Europa League we won a title, and at the same time we went back to the Champions League. If tomorrow we manage to win the tie and to go to the last 8, I think it's a good achievement. But if we go to the last 8, life goes on, and life goes on means that we will have hypothetically a quarterfinal to play. And if we go to the quarterfinal, we don't go to the quarterfinal thinking that we have no chance, not at all. But the biggest problem in this moment, the problem that we have to resolve, has only one name, and that name is Sevilla.
Jose, I know you said Paul came to train after the media play. Did anyone else come in on it? Herrera wasn't there.
No. It was just Paul. It was just Paul.
And with Phil Jones, we've not seen him since early.
He's injured.
But with England's meeting up next week, what's the situation?
And only if Gary wants to take him for the medical department because he's injured.
Hola, vamos por aquí. Alexis ha recibido muchas críticas en los últimos partidos. Hoy día podíamos ver el entrenamiento de él y veíamos cómo llegaba 10 minutos antes del resto de sus compañeros. No sé cómo, para ti, cómo es entrenar a un jugador así que generalmente siempre quiere estar en la cancha. ¿Y qué esperas de un jugador así en un partido tan importante como mañana?
No, 10 minutos antes lo hace siempre. Es siempre el primero en ir al campo y no veo ningún tipo de problema en esto. Críticas, en este momento en Inglaterra las críticas son para casi todos, no digo todos, pero para casi todos. No es un niño, es un chico con muchos años de fútbol y muchos años de experiencia. No creo que jugar para un club como el Barcelona, una selección como el Chile, no creo que sea muy fácil también a nivel de ese tipo de presión. Estoy seguro que próxima temporada será todavía mejor que ahora, es normal. Y mañana lo que espero es que con sus compañeros gane el partido. No espero nada de él a nivel personal. La única cosa que espero es que él con sus compañeros consigan ganar el partido. Es la única cosa que me interesa.
Simon Ferguson always said that he felt this club should have won more than 3 European Cups. Do you agree with that? And do you feel you now have the conditions, everything in place, the team, the players, the resources, to be able to add to that total?
Not yet. But when a team reaches the last 8, anything is possible. Now I have only one name in my mind, is Sevilla. I know that it's very difficult to go through. If we go to the quarterfinal draw, doesn't matter the opponent will be always, or for us or for Sevilla, will be always one of the big names in European football. But we will try.
Okay, last 2 questions, one there and one there.
Hi Jose, Paul Scott from TRT World. I'd like to ask you about UEFA's plans for next season's Champions League, if that's okay. 4 places guaranteed to teams from England, Spain, Italy and Germany. The last team not from one of those countries to win the competition was your Porto team in 2004. Do you think those changes are going to make it much harder and almost impossible for teams like Porto to win the competition again in the future?
I did that.
You did that?
It's good. It's a good achievement. Because I work in England, I'm happy with that. Okay? I'm more than honest. Because I work in England and because the 4th position is hypothetically a position where we can finish the league, I'm very happy with that because it's better for an English club that finished 4th. It's better not to play that last playoff, which is always a risk, and be already qualified. So I think in this moment, the English teams that are fighting for top 4, I'm pretty sure that all of them, Jurgen, Conte, all of them will feel the same as me. We are happy that the 4th goes direct. It's good for us.
Okay, last question.
Hola, José, ¿qué tal? Dani Sil para la cadena COPE. ¿No estar entre los 8 mejores clasificados para la Champions sería un fracaso?
Seria um fracasso. Não sei o que te diga, de verdade. Não sei o que te diga. Fracasso. Ganamos 2-1 ao Liverpool e ao final do partido havia uns que diziam que era um fracasso. Pode imaginar que ser eliminado será considerado um fracasso. Eu, a nível personal, para mim seria mais uma desilusão, não? Se diz? Uma desilusão que um fracasso. Não creio que somos candidatos a ganar la competición, no lo creo. Pero cuando empatas fuera, a pesar de que es un 0-0 y un 0-0 es un resultado que no es especialmente bueno, pero decidir una eliminatoria aquí en nuestra casa, en un partido en que tenemos que ganar, no tenemos que ganar por 3, por 4, por 5, tenemos que ganar 1-0, 2-1, 5-4, 8-7. No ganar es o sería una desilusión.
Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you. No.
Michael, your manager said that this is going to be your last season. Is it going to be your last season at Manchester United as a player? Have you decided to join his coaching staff for next season?
Yeah, it's I think it's pretty much already said anyway, to be honest with you. But comes a time when, as much as you like it or you don't like it, you know, your body tells you it's time to stop playing football. So that's pretty much where I'm at, which is fine. Something you've got to accept. So that's where I'm at.
Having said that, you're still happy to play football this season. The manager's talked about being part of his coaching staff. Has anything been sorted out? What can you kind of tell us to kind of update what might happen?
Yeah, well, it's kind of been sorted out. We're still talking about it, to be honest. So there's nothing to totally confirm as yet. But yeah, it's looking likely. Yeah.
Was the decision to stop Michael to do with the heart condition you had? We've not had a chance to speak to you about it. Can you talk us through that a little bit?
After this one, can we get on to the game as well, please? After this one, thank you.
Yeah, obviously I had the problem in the Burton game when it started during the second half, and then had a few tests after that, and same problem kind of came back on the Sunday of that week in training. So then I have the procedure the following week, which I went through, which now is totally fine. I'm clear, and it took a little bit of time to get over, but there was some times there where for 2 or 3 days I was kind of thinking, you know, am I going to carry on playing or not? Is it kind of worth it or not? But that quickly passed, and I got back fit, and I wanted to finish on my own terms really, when at least I could decide and not be forced to because of that. So I was determined to get back fit. I understood I'd be getting back fit, and I probably game time would be. I don't know what's the word. I wouldn't be playing as many games as probably I might have done, but that's something that I understood, and I've just been training hard and trying to keep fit, and managed to play a few games so far and see what happens towards the end of the season.
Michael, how impressive have you been with Scott McTominay when he's come into the side? Does he remind you a little bit of Darren Fletcher when you see the way he's progressed?
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic, Scott. I mean, he's the next one. I think we keep producing them, which as a club is incredible to. In this day and age, you know, when so much scrutiny and so much money, and people are clamouring to sign this player and that player, and to keep having players constantly coming through is an unbelievable achievement. And credit to the manager as well for giving him a chance and sticking with him. And he's played him in some huge games so far this season already. And I think it's great to see the young lads like that to get the chance in big games to find out actually what they can do. And sometimes you don't really know what you've got until you're tested, and I think Scotty's done great. He's had a similar rise to Marcus in effect, where he probably wasn't close to the first team. He got his chance and took it, and he's been pretty much an ever present in and around the squad since then. And it's credit to him. You know, he's a great lad. He's a humble lad. He listens. He learns. He takes it in, which gives him a great chance of improving all the time. And he's certainly done that. Obviously, listen, it's early days. He's got a long way to go. He's at the other end of the scale to where I am. But I'll try and help him as much as I can and give him bits of advice. But credit to him, he's done great so far.
Michael, you've won this competition yourself. How much of a chance do you think this current United side has of winning the Champions League this season, please?
Yeah, I mean, when you start talking like that, it's kind of irrelevant, really, in some ways, because, you know, I'm not disrespecting Sevilla at all. I think it'd be totally wrong of me to start talking about next rounds, quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, anything like that. And you're leaving yourself open. I think you've got to totally focus on tomorrow night. It's a huge game for all sorts of reasons. It's a big game, and the fact it's the next game, you know, that it's a boring old answer. It's not what you want to hear, unfortunately, but that's how it is. That's how we work. You know, we have to focus on the next game, and it's going to be a tough night for us. But you know, we believe if we play well, you know what we can do, then we'll have a great chance.
Michael, I guess it's important to be back on the stage. It's been too long for a club like Man United not to be in the last 16 knockout rounds of Champions League here at Old Trafford. Yeah,
without doubt. I mean, for so long, it was kind of a given. You know, it was not taken for granted, but it was just what we did. You know, and for so many years, when you go without that little bit, and you know, it kind of hurts, and you miss it. And you know, unfortunately, this year we're back there. We're back out in the knockout stages where it really counts, and you get that extra spicy feeling. You know, there's a little bit extra to it. And we want to be playing these games, the biggest games at these time of the season. Again, not looking past tomorrow night, but for seasons ahead now, I think as a squad we need to develop. We need to be constantly in this position and expect it of ourselves, and you know, keep them standards high.
Michael, there's been a lot of questions about Alexis Sanchez since he came in. He's only scored 1 goal so far. What have you made of his start and what he's kind of brought to the team that maybe we don't see?
Yeah, do you know what? He just loves the game. He absolutely loves the game. Every day in training, he's first one out with the ball at his feet, which is great to see. He's desperate to do well. He works hard in training. He's given everything. And listen, we've seen his quality. He's done it for so many years now. We know exactly what he brings, and I mean, he'll be fine. He'll have a great time here. He's I said when he first signed, he's a Man United player. He suits the way we play. He's got that excitement. He always looks forward. He's dynamic. And yeah, you can judge him on the first few games, whatever. But I think over time he'd be terrific, and I've got no doubts about that at all.
Just on Scott again, you mentioned he was humble. The manager was saying before that he doesn't create the headlines, or he's not flash. Is he a bit of an example really to quite a lot of young players now who seem to be sort of obsessed with the trappings, to put that aside and focus on football?
I think it's quite refreshing to look at Scott and see how he deals with it. He goes about his business. He comes in. He's always doing extra. He's training. He's desperate to do well, and always looking for them little things to improve on. And like you say, all the glitz and the glamour and everything that can surround young players these days, he kind of doesn't seem too interested in that, which is fantastic. I think, especially at the stage of his career, it's about making a career. You know, that's how it is. You know, you can't live like you've had a career before you've had the career. You've got to earn it, and you've got to establish yourself. And he's done great so far. He's obviously still got some to go to really fully establish himself as a big player for this club. But so far he's on a great track, and he's given himself the best possible chance to fulfil that. And yeah, he's a shining example to kids looking up to sort of how you can be and within yourself, and how you cope, and body language and mentality and everything. He's done great.
Martin, you've had obviously a fairly limited role this season. How do you see the part you play between now and the end of the season? And also, how would you like to be remembered? Obviously, you bring the curtain down on your career. How would you like to be remembered? in your career?
It's a full question, that one. Now, between now and the end of the season, just keep myself fit, keep myself ready. You never know when going to be needed, and hopefully I can get some game time at some point between now and the end of the season. I still see myself as a player for now anyway. And I'm still enjoying training and being out with the boys, and probably trying to help a lot more now probably than I have in the past, because I'm kind of understand where I'm at, and a bit of responsibilities obviously, but it's being his captain this season as well, but just the age I'm at, and people like Scott and some of the younger boys trying to help them and adapt. And in terms of being remembered, I think it's just someone that tried to do the things the right way, try to work for the team, be known as a team player, I think is important. And I can look at it and think, I've given it my best. I've tried all sorts of different things to bring the best out of me, and over the years, and I can say that I'll give my best, so I can look back with no regrets.
Last question, Simon.
Michael, do you get emotional when people talk about the Champions League music and all this kind of stuff? After what you've just said, it could be the last time tomorrow night. Hopefully it's not, but do things like that bother you?
No, not really. No, to be honest, it is what it is. I think you've got to be quite comfortable with the situation. Don't really think too much about it, to be honest with you. I think when I played at Newcastle a few weeks ago, it was probably a bit more emotional for my parents than anything else. Seeing my mum after the game, and it's not something I thought of. I'm just thinking about enjoying the rest of the season and playing as much as I can. Whether that's the last one or not, I hope tomorrow night's not the last by a long stretch, but there's no point thinking about it before it happens.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.